Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Antonia Mercarella. I'm the CEO of the Real Estate Institute of Queensland, and I'm joined today by Peter Lynch. Peter is, of course, known to many of you. He is a client relationship manager with AON, and today we'll be talking to Peter about all things insurance related in relation to the real estate sector. Just very quickly, as I've mentioned, Peter is a client relationship manager with AON. Peter has extensive experience in the insurance space, working specifically with the real estate sector for over those 3 decades. And of course, over that time, he has built fantastic relationships with real estate businesses all over Queensland, and both in terms of independent real estate businesses and also those within franchise groups. So Peter, thanks so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you very much, Antonia.
So Peter, let's kick off with some important new news. Of course, AON is shortly due to release the renewal for professional indemnity insurances, and there has of course been a significant change in terms of a change in the underwriter. Talk to us a little bit about that decision and what it means for policyholders.
Yes, Antonia, there is going to be a new insurer this year. And look, we at AON have been conscious for quite a while. There's been a lot of pressure on the professional indemnity market, not just in Australia, but worldwide. Claims are increasing, putting a lot of pressure on the policy wordings and of course, obviously premiums. What we wanted to do was ensure a smooth transition for our members and for your members and for our clients, that, you know, they've got a strong professional indemnity insurer. They've got very proactive wording, a wide wording, very attractive premiums, and of course the continuance of a very good claim service. So we've, after approaching a number of the major players in professional indemnity insurance, we elected to proceed with CGU Insurance, which of course is a very well-known insurer. It's very well known nationally by the insurance industry for its work in landlords insurance, and of course CGU Insurance is part of the IAG group, so quite a large Australian brand and very secure insurer.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And of course, I think as you've pointed out, the professional indemnity space has been one that's been shifting and changing quite considerably over the last few years, and it can be quite a competitive area, of course. But what we know is the devil is always in the detail when it comes to good insurance. So tell us a little bit about what makes this policy stand out from the rest, and what makes it the policy that we should be recommending and really selecting.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I think I'd like to first touch on the fact that this month actually represents 27 years ago since the REIQ and AON launched the REIQ professional indemnity policy, and there's no small amount of pride on my behalf and AON's and obviously the REIQ that this policy has lasted the test of time. What we are doing is giving the same policy protection the members of always have been insured via, and also enhancing it. So the protection that was always there continues, but there's some major enhancements with regards to the policy wording, the removal of certain exclusions, the enhancement of some of the policy extensions, but importantly, all the protection that has been there in the past continues, and of course the claim service.
Yeah, that's excellent, Peter. And just to add to that, it makes us extremely proud as well. Close to 30 years that relationship between us has existed, and I think the beauty of that relationship in terms of AON, that is of course the largest insurance broker in the world, and REIQ is the peak body. I think we've worked really hard to ensure that we're constantly reviewing the policy, the enhancements, the protections and exclusions and so forth, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail as the interview progresses. But I think it's important to point out that we haven't been sitting still, and we are constantly adapting and changing to meet the changing requirements that of course apply to the real estate sector. So that's actually a good segue to a couple of specific questions I want to go to. Firstly, I want to focus a little bit on property management. As we know, we have seen increasingly a number of those professional indemnity claims arising in connection with property management related matters, and of course a few years back we worked on a really terrific and important initiative to reward, I guess, real estate businesses that are doing the right thing, those with a rent roll that are following best practice tips and are working in a very compliant way. So in particular, this initiative meant that if you could tick off certain boxes, if you like, in terms of best practice requirements, that then meant that the applicable waiver would be I beg your pardon, that the applicable excess would be waived. Can you just talk to us about whether that is remaining, because that was something that that we thought was incredibly important?
Look, most certainly that benefit is going to continue, and look, it was a benefit that yourself and the team at the property management team at REIQ assisted us with to create that. It is a major benefit. As you know, property management claims probably represent 60% of the notifications that we receive every year. The excesses on property management have been growing, and in some cases they can vary anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. So by simply ticking the box on 5 simple risk management procedures when the claim is lodged, you've got the ability to have the excess waived. They're not onerous conditions, as you know. They are simply normal business practice, and they are ones that are expected under the Act anyway. There's simply things like having a standard property management agreement in place at the time of the claim, having a public liability policy for the contractor involved, having a documented system of doing inspections, having a documented system that you're doing follow-ups. All of those things, they're very simple, and I know the majority of members are doing that, and I know increasingly in years gone by now, more and more agents are having the benefit of having that excess waived. It's a major benefit, and to be honest with you, in this financial crisis we're going through at the moment, it's a major benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about it is that really, as you've pointed out, they're not onerous requirements. They're requirements that every single real estate business should be adhering to. But what's great about it is that it could save you in some cases up to $10,000. So it's not only are you doing something that ensures that you're compliant, but also there's this really important financial saving that's available for you. So Peter, something that I really wanted to spend a little bit of time on is that I think one of the real standout benefits of this PI product is of course the availability to talk to cardinal lawyers, that really important service that is available there, that is a bit of a claims hotline, if you like, and allows you to talk to terrific lawyers at the other side. And of course, cardinal lawyers, their knowledge of all things real estate is second to none. They've got a fantastic team over there. I know that will be on the mind of many of the insureds that are watching this. Will that service still remain in place post the renewal process?
Oh, look, most definitely. And look, as I mentioned, when we formed this or created this policy with the REIQ in 1993, one of the cornerstones was the creation of the hotline, which was a real milestone in those days and ahead of its time. Carter & Newell have been part of that process since 1993. The work that they do has been invaluable. I think, roughly speaking, they have probably handled about 6,000 notifications during that period. And an interesting thing from the insurance point of view, which is so great about this hotline, 94% of those notifications never go to a formal claim because they're acted on so swiftly. And look, I've got clients and actually friends in the real estate industry that say to me, I just love that peace of mind that when I do get a problem, it might not actually go to a claim, but that hotline is there to give that peace of mind and security, and you're not sitting on the end of the line waiting to get service from an unknown.
Yeah, look, that's extraordinary. 94%. What an amazing statistic that is. And of course, as we all know, prevention is always better than cure. And not only does it prevent, I guess, an expensive legal claim, but also the potential reputational damage, and of course the time that legal claims suck up. So I think that is just such a valuable aspect of this particular product. And I know that anyone listening who's had the benefit of dealing with cardinal lawyers, that will be a welcome relief to know that that's going to be something So that's terrific. Pete, something I do want to talk about is runoff cover. as we all know, there will be people out there watching who are thinking about selling their business, particularly due to COVID-19. It may just be that last straw, if you like, that for some may break the back and make them decide that it's time to either sell or to retire. And of course, even outside of COVID, we know that eventually people get to a stage where they make that decision that it's time to move on. And of course, it's incredibly important that that you don't just walk away, that you do take runoff cover in the event that claims arise post-retirement or post-sale. So talk to us a little bit about runoff cover and what's going to be available and where that will sit under the renewals.
Yeah. Look, runoff cover, I'm glad you've raised that actually, because it's a most important factor for agents that are considering either selling or retiring. There is a lot of agents that think that at the end of the sale of their business or the retirement, that's the end of their liability. But unfortunately, as we both know, that's not the case. And there is potential for actions to be taken against agents post the close of their business, whether it be in the sales arena or property management. So you still are held liable for past negligent acts. Now, the way you protect yourself going into the future is to purchase runoff insurance. It's so vital. And I want to touch on here, importantly, obviously not everyone's insured via AON, and I encourage, even if you are insured via AON, that you speak to us or speak to your broker when that time approaches, and well in advance of when you sell your business, so you get the right advice. But importantly, one of the continuing benefits under the REIQ AON policy is free runoff. Now, the way to obtain free runoff is having in excess of 3 consecutive years of insurance with the facility, and that gives you free runoff. But naturally, like everything, there's a proviso, and the insurers reserve the right to review that free runoff subject to your claims history. But I cannot stress importantly enough, do not move to close your business without first either speaking to us or speaking to your own broker or insurer.
Yeah, I think that's so important. The last thing you want is to be thinking that you've closed your business or you've sold your business and you can have a peaceful retirement, only to find yourself with a claim on your hands that could cost you hundreds and thousands or even more. That would be a terrible nightmare. So I agree with you. I can't stress the importance of runoff cover enough. It's incredibly important. So Peter, just also touching on over the years, we've developed a series of initiatives and new enhancements to the policy. And of course, another one that was developed a number of years ago was, I guess, something that we wanted to ensure that we were rewarding loyalty. So where REIQ members were renewing for successive years their policy, their PI policy, they would be rewarded with certain excess waivers. Could you give us some advice or perhaps information about where that will stand under the new insurance renewal?
Yeah, look, certainly. Once again, that's another benefit that remains, and one that we value very much for your members. And look, in simple terms, it's this. If you've been with the REIQ facility, AON facility, for a consecutive period of up to 5 years and over, in the following insurance year, you're entitled to one free waiver of your excess. Mm-hmm. If you're then with those that are with the facility, and some have been in a period 10 years plus, you're actually entitled to the waiver of 2 excesses in the policy year. Now, as you touched on before, excesses can vary right up to $10,000. Now, you can imagine that's a major benefit. And I know that there's been a number of members that have been able to use that benefit in the past. And I think the good thing about it, a lot of our clients have even forgotten they've got the benefit and get quite a shock, a pleasant shock, may I say.
A pleasant one. Yeah, I think that's excellent, and I think, you know, I just really want to reflect again on just this is where I think that relationship that we have is so valuable, that we're able to come together on a regular basis to review what those policy inclusions look like and what we can offer to make sure that we're rewarding good professional conduct and compliant conduct, and that loyalty is being rewarded, because we appreciate that people have choice, and I think it's great that AON is constantly thinking about how they can be rewarding loyalty and good professional conduct. So Peter, even though today I know we've been focusing specifically on professional indemnity insurance, I can't let you go without bringing up the issue of cybercrime. Unfortunately, we know that this is an emerging, very much an emerging and escalating risk that exists in our community. And of course, particularly during the COVID crisis, it's really disappointing to see that there are people out there who are exploiting this crisis. And of course, with many of us working online now, it makes it too good an opportunity for those cyber criminals to resist. And this is a topic that I know is very close to your heart. So just very quickly, tell us a little bit about AON's views on this issue, and any perhaps tips or advice that you can give to anyone listening who is concerned about cybercrime.
Thanks, Antonia. Look, as you know, you and I have attended quite a number of CPD sessions together in the last couple of years, and I'll admit it, cyber has been one of my hobby horses that I'm really keen to encourage principals to look closely at purchasing cyber insurance, and importantly, inserting a risk management program into their office for awareness of cyber. I like to use the term create a cyber-centric office. The whole protection of cyber, it goes down to staff awareness. And, cyber must become as much part of a sales as a property management as any other topic. And sadly, as you say, there's a criminal element that have recognised during this COVID crisis that there's a lot of people working from home. Certainly AON have got large staff all around Australia working externally, as do the REIQ and a lot of your members. It does create the problem of the security of remote devices which staff are using. And as I've said in the past, it is very, very important to avoid, phishing or claims where funds are moved, where, you get fake emails and you respond to those and give away the security of your system. The most basic protection is to look at multifaceted identification. So, I say to principals when you're speaking to your staff, never, ever transfer funds purely on the strength of an email. You must do a check on that, and it's not checking via a phone call made the phone number that's on that email, but by checking your file. It's be suspicious all the time. That's all I can say. It's a case where a bit of paranoia is quite healthy, and we at AON have got a team of people that are very happy to talk through suggestions and help on cyber security and cyber information. But it's important for principals to look at procuring a standalone cyber insurance. It will give them peace of mind, particularly with regards to trust accounts. I think we've touched on this before. Unlike a lot of other SMEs, there is a huge exposure within the real estate industry of private information that particularly the property management department holds, license numbers, bank account details, potentially passport numbers, all of those things. They're just the sort of material that a hacker really looks for. So, to go back to my hobby horse, please look if you're receiving your professional indemnity renewal in the next couple of weeks, as part of that, look very strongly at your cyber insurance and your cyber security.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, you're spot on. I wish I could say that I disagreed with you, but it is an unfortunate reality that we all have to deal with. And you're right, the information that is held by real estate businesses is a hacker's dream come true, unfortunately. So I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, Pete. And look, that brings us to the end. But what I did want to say is that the AON team have a dedicated real estate team, Australian-based real estate team. I'm sure that many of you listening have other questions, whether it be about professional indemnity insurance or cyber related insurances and or other various insurance products that you might need. So I would encourage you to give the friendly team at AON a call, and the number to do that is 1300 734 274, and Peter, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us today, giving us the lowdown on what that new renewal will look like and taking us through some of those new enhancements. It's been great talking to you as always, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonia. All the best.